This is Noel Tate from Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast. And you're listening to Know Her is to Fear Her, the Spider-Woman podcast.
Hi, Jessica.
Who the hell are you?
The woman who's going to save your life.
Welcome back, Spider Babies, to Know Her is to Fear Her, the Spider-Woman podcast. We're your hosts, Seren and Rey.
Hey, hello everybody. We are back and we are fully charged to continue our assault on the classic run. How are you going, Seren?
I'm going. I actually had just muted my mic for a second, so I might sound really weird.
Oh, no, not
if
at all.
I don't, then we're good. Okay, I'm back. I had to mute my mic to yell at someone. Anyway, not really yell at them, but you know. Anyway, yes. I'm good.
Excellent. Have you been up to much kind of lately? I know you're getting prepared for New York Comic Con.
I am. 2 days. 2 days.
Delicious. When are you going for all the days or?
I am.
Oh, wow.
Girl got a VIP pass.
Wow.
I sprung for the money because
nice.
I saved real hard for it. And I said, I'm getting the VIP pass. So I did. Cool. And it gets me in all the panels regardless of how long the line is. So
right.
I just show up and wave my pass and they let me in.
Nice. Any other benefits for VIPs? Just for listeners out there?
Other benefits. So access to all the panels, including main stage and Empire stage, although I need to show up early for those.
Mm-hmm.
I get a separate baggage check from everyone else. There is a VIP lounge with light catering.
Yes.
So I can go up there for some quiet time and some snacks, although I'll be bringing my own.
You've got to make do with the VIP lounge, Sarah, and get in there.
I will get in there. Don't worry. I have to go anyway because I also get a VIP tote bag that they were actually supposed to mail me, but then some people it got mailed and other people it didn't. So I got an email saying I need to go pick mine up. So I got to go pick mine up on Thursday. But it's got it'll be like a tote bag. It's got like a lanyard in it and some other like freebie things. I don't know.
Oh, lovely.
Excuse me, I just burped. What else do I get? I get on the show floor about 10 minutes before everyone else does, so I can make it to the Marvel booth on day one and make sure I get the t-shirts I want.
Do you get to kind of like fast track some cues or lines or anything like that? Apart from the presentations? No, okay.
No, I tried to get into the Funko booth this year, but by the time the reservations were for that, even though I'm VIP, they were all full, so I won't get in Funko this year. But it just really that I also get a 10% discount at the merch store for the NYCC official merch store, so I get a 10% discount there.
Ooh, gonna pick up a shirt.
Yes, I will be picking up a shirt. I will also maybe be picking up a couple pins to add to my collection. What was the other thing that I get? I don't
presentations, panels.
It's really for the Empire stage. The Empire and main stage panels, that's really where it pays for itself because then I didn't have to fight reservations this year to get in because it's like a lottery system. And then sometimes they're going to have a stand, like in past years, they would have like separate queues for each panel you wanted to get into. And then they would swipe your badge and fill the panel the morning of. Yeah. They stopped doing that. This year, it was a reservation system. So you got in the queue for the reservation, but your placing queue was randomized. And so by the time I didn't get a chance to pick any panels because I'm VIP. So I automatically have a reservation. So I can just show up 25 minutes prior to the panel and go, hey, here's my badge. And they put me in a separate VIP line.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I didn't have to fight for those panels, which was delightful. Because I want to go to the Legend of Vox Machina / Critical Role one on Thursday night. And then there's a Good Omen ones that I'm kind of intrigued about. And I think there's another one on the main stage I want to check out on Saturday. I can't remember what it is.
Now, the burning question, Seren, at the tip of my tongue, and I want to ask you, is because I just got reminded in my head, Brain Ray reminded me, a bag. Did you pick up an updated backpack for yourself? I mentioned didn't you say your bag was?
Yes. Well, I love my bag. My bag is still in good shape.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted a backup just in case.
Okay.
I haven't been able to find one as good as this one that didn't cost more than less than $60, because this bag I picked up is a great bag. I picked it up for $15 at Walmart, and it opens at the top. It's like every con goer's dream. This bag.
I remember how excited
those 17-inch poster sleeves in it, and it's got a pouch for a quote unquote laptop and a pouch for a quote unquote tablet. But really, what they are to me are big prints and comic book sized pouches, and then. Perfect. Plenty of room for snacks and pouches on the side for bottles of water and all sorts of good stuff. It's really good.
So a few more cons yet for old Reliable.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He's got a few in there. He's got a few left.
I just remembered. I thought,
Yeah, I was trying to find another one like it for cheap if I could. But truly, I should have gotten two. I really should have I'm so mad I didn't get two.
Don't you hate? I hate when that happens. Where it's just if only, hindsight is a great thing. If only.
And I have to report, Spider Babies, if you're in our Discord, the demise of my pleather Spider Woman motorcycle jacket. I washed it, and I don't have a washer. I have to go to the laundromat, and I put it in the dryer on low setting for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it melted. No,
is this the first time you did it, or just a wonky dryer?
Well, not the first time. It's a wonky dryer. In past dryers, you could do a no heat setting. It was just air.
Yeah.
And that would do it. But this one, it didn't have a no heat setting, just a low heat setting.
No.
And it had been in storage, and I wanted to freshen it up, and I fucked it up, and I'm really sad.
You can.
I found apparently a replacement at FYE, but it hasn't shipped yet, so I'm probably not going to have it in time for the con. But I might have it in time for Halloween.
Okay. Well, no, you don't need it for Halloween, Seren. You can be Marvel Zombie Jess in that jacket. If it's kind of tatted and melted, you can be
that's a good idea.
Yeah, roll with it.
I might. We'll see.
Actually, just reminded me as well, I might as well say it now before I forget. Spider Babies, I do believe it is Jess and Rustin. Speaking of merch, Seren.
Yes.
Now, we did have that little competition. Yes.
They need stickers.
Yes. Well, I'm thinking actually just one-upping it and doing better. I'm just going to try and source some badges or pins for
better.
For Jess and Rustin, because I think they may have already stickers from their Patreon membership, so just something a little bit different. So bear with me, Jess and Rustin. I'm just going to try and locally source them, because I found this place that does stickers and badges for I can do them in bulk, and they work out pretty well in price. So I might get them done just locally here, and then I'll shoot them off to both our Spider Babies who guessed the right answer, Seren. And for those that missed out, what was it again?
I can't remember what the question was. It's been one hell of a week.
Oh, okay. I remember. It was a rhetorical. Was
Sorry.
No, that's all right. It was Alicia. Alicia's appearance in what we're going to cover now, Spider Babies, the classic run 31 to 33. Now, it was kind of foretelling, I guess, what would happen down the. And Seren, you mentioned you dropped a nice little carrot as to what that references later on. And the answer was Spider Island. Is that correct?
Spider Island, Spider Woman.
which actually, oh gosh, Seren, I saw that. I haven't got a copy of that. I was looking on eBay. I found one, but I sat on it, and now it's gone. Missed opportunity. No, there's another one, but this one.
It's a very good issue. I was very pleasantly surprised when I read this, and then I went and read that. I was like, oh, check that out. That was cool. Nice little throwback there. I love it when stuff like that happens. I was so excited when I read Spider Island Spider-Woman. I got so excited about it.
Yeah, and it's a one-shot, right? So it's a nice self-contained little thing, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
But it's a self-contained little thing, but it's also like a key issue. And like, again, Jess, I don't know. I get so mad in these spider crossovers where Jess actually has a pretty important part and no one talks about it. I could go on a rant about that for hours about Spider-Geddon. I was so mad. Anyway.
I feel, Seren, and I don't want to stoke the fire or anything like that, but I just feel it seems unless she gets onto the stage, like onto film, like in the MCU or in Sony or whatever, then she won't get the attention she deserves in the comics. Now, I'm not saying that is the way that it should be, because by no means is it, but it just seems that unless you're in the MCU, you won't get the attention.
You're right. But I will also say that Jess has done better than some other female characters. Looking at you, Jan.
Yes.
Janet Van Dyne, who only is just now getting her first solo series, if I recall correctly.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, on the comic side. Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
So I will say Jess has done fairly good for herself. The reason for that is because of us spider babies being so vocal. So I really do need to get my ass back on Twitter and start another writing campaign. Spidey office at marvel.com. Just say, hey, we want Jess back. Where's she coming back? Thanks for having her and all the other cool stuff, but we really like it when she has her own solo, and her last solo was real good. Please give us another one. And you just got to be squeaky wheel gets the grease, because the reason she even had her last series was because we were so squeaky about it.
Maybe we can also kind of coordinate with the rest of the Spider Babies, so the Marvel office literally get like an email every day. you know? So like you do Thursdays, I do Fridays.
NYCC, and I'll be in there going, hey CB, it's me again.
Yes.
Can we have another one?
It is, because it is frustrating, because as you say, Seren, I mean, it's kind of good and bad, because she has got, she is lingering around the comics, and that's largely to the Spider Babies, which is great. But she's kind of stuck. Like, she needs to go up that next level, I feel.
I'm glad she's in the Captain Marvel book, because Kelly Thompson's been knocking it out of the park, and that's helped a lot. She's in that Avengers book, but she's not. I haven't read it, because I can't bring myself to buy Greg art interior. I can't do it.
Look, Seren, you're not missing on too much. There's only one issue so far, but Jess's role is, again, kind of similar to some of her roles in Team Books. She's kind of just there. She has a few lines here and there, but
she was so good in Strike Force. Teeny Howard, please take Jess back into a team book, please. Even if it's X-Men, I will read it because she's in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving that all action or all out Avengers. I never remember what it's called. Maybe a couple of other issues, but I mean, to be honest, I'm not wowed by it.
I wasn't expecting. I just feel like Jess should be on the Avengers, and the fact that here's my. Have I told you my tinfoil hat theory?
Oh, we've missed that, Seren.
This is. I have a whole conspiracy theory about this. So we're gonna go into this conspiracy theory, and and we're talking like the most elaborate tinfoil hat you have ever seen in your life. Okay, so please, this is just, I'm 99.999 100% wrong on this, but this is my elaborate tinfoil hat series.
Yeah.
Okay, I might have talked about it before, but we're really going into it now. So, Jess, up until about 2014. Was under the purview of the Avengers office. She was always in Avengers books. She was always considered an Avenger because of her origins and ties to Hydra. This is my own personal theory of this. In 2014, they had the Spider-Verse event, and they moved Jess over to the Spidey office. that was also around the time that the Sony leaks happened with whose rights were where, and Jess was a shared character.
Okay.
So something happened that moved Jess from the Avenger office to the Spidey office, and they removed her from the Avengers. And he had her solo series. She was in all the Spider-Man tie-ins and all of that, right? Because she was Spider-Woman. She was made to reserve the name. She came after Peter. Apparently, they moved her to that office. So then there was this whole thing that Sony was going to make a movie with her. Sony this, Sony that, all the Sony stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then her cartoon series came out on Disney Plus, and then there was that whole debacle with the rights for Spidey going back to Sony, and the Sony and Disney breaking up, and the union between. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
but now that's back.
Yeah.
And not long after that came back, Jess is now in an Avengers book.
Oh, I like these. I like
and
this
she was
tinfoil hat theory.
But I mean, she was also in Strike Force too. So Strike Force was kind of the first like nudge in that. But then now she's truly back on an Avengers book.
Yeah, Strike Force might have been an anomaly. Like, Tini Howard might have just wanted to.
Well, yeah, Tini loves Jess, and she writes a very good Jess. So yes, I love Strike Force. It was delightfully weird and wonderful, and I loved it. But what was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
I think it's got legs. Your theory.
Right. So I feel like, and the other. Oh, I remember now. So the other thing too is that when Olivia Wilde gets asked about Jess, she always says like Marvel and MCU. She doesn't say like Sony MCU, and that never seems to get corrected.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if something happened in the restructuring after the fallout, and then they're reunioning the Marvel and Disney and Sony thing. I'm wondering if somehow Feige now has Jess with the ability to use her full powers and everything she is in the MCU.
And added to that as well, Seren, we know Madam Web, we were a little bit disappointed that apparently there's no Jess in that too, which you would have thought she would have made perfect sense. So again, that could mean maybe if your theory is correct, maybe it's because Jess has jumped kind of ship, so to speak, back to the MCU.
Right, and maybe she's back under the Avenger office. If Marvel still has quote-unquote different offices like they did, because they had their Mondo Marvel for the kids stuff, and then they had their X-Men office for Inhumans and X-Men.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have. There are different departments basically.
Right. So I'm wondering. Right. So I'm wondering if Jess has hopped back under the Avengers purview, because really, I mean, she does fit in with Spidey in the sense that, I mean, Bendis did tie her a little bit to Spidey through the Jackal and Miles Warren. And, there are a couple of little hooks now, like the Inheritors should really hate her now because, if they eat her, they'll die. But really, she still maintains more ties to Hydra and even the Monster Metropolis with the weird stuff down there, and the Cosmic with all the Skrulls. And I'm so mad she's not in the new Skrull series, but whatever. So she still has more ties to all of that. I mean, she's a chameleon. She can go in any. You put her in any Marvel thing, and she'll fit. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like maybe something happened that shuffled her to the Spidey office. Something happened again that shuffled her back into an Avengers book. Is what I think.
A bit of a loaded question here, Sarah, though. But are you happy if this is correct? Are you happy for this turn of events for Jess? I mean, I would be.
So. I think
if
Jess
she's on the
does better as an Avenger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as much as I think, yes, she should be in Spider-Verse things to some extent. I also feel that because of her origins, she's still more Avengers. Honestly, I'm surprised no one pulled her in with the Cap crowd because of all the Hydra stuff in her background.
Look, as well, also, I mean, we know Peter Parker and Jess are totally different,
right?
People. But isn't there that speculation also that Tom Holland's kind of done his last Spidey film? So maybe Spider-Woman can be the Spider hero in the MCU to replace Spidey.
Maybe, or they're bringing Miles in. I think they would bring Miles in first.
Yeah, well, true.
Maybe not. Yeah. I don't know.
I like this tinfoil hat theory.
Yeah, the only thing different is that Jess is going to be in the animated Spider-Verse movie, but it's a totally different. She's still Jessica Drew, but she's a totally different iteration of Jessica Drew than what we're used to, which is fine.
It's fine, yeah. And again, she's a fringe. It seems like she's a fringe character in that.
It sounds like she has a slightly bigger role.
Oh, okay.
But,
okay, cool.
But also, they took away her electric powers, which bothers the hell out of me. Yeah, because she originally had the Venom blasts. And what makes me angry is that there's a story to be told. And that's the other thing with Jess tying his fires. There's a story to be told there with Jess and Miles having the Venom blasts. And I feel like them taking away that in the Spider-Verse movie is kind of removing what makes Jess her. And I feel like that's them saying, oh no, a female character can't have blasty powers like Miles can. And Jess is the original character to have, Spider character, quote unquote, to have those powers. So and she's the one who coined the term Venom Blast. And what annoys me kind of actually is seeing these people learning about the Spider-Verse and Jessica Drew and going, oh, she has Miles' Venom Blast. And we're like, no, Miles, that was something Brian Michael Bendis adapted from Jess and gave to Miles. Jess was the only one who had those powers until Miles came along. So.
Now, do we know also? Again, I'm just being the devil's advocate or whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
Do we know if what is it? Is it called Across the Spider-Verse? What's the sequel called?
Yeah, it's called Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse. Now, is that just the Jess, or we have multiverses happening all over
Jessica
the giant?
Drew, but she's
she could be from another reality, right?
Yeah, she is. She's from another reality. She's
Which
African American, and that's cool. I don't care about that. I just care that they took her Venom Blast away.
Yeah,
and
true.
And she does webs, and that's what makes me angry.
Yeah, fair enough, and I totally get that as well. But I'm thinking that there's at least a little bit more leeway, I guess, in the fact that she's not she's from another universe. Because you know how you have multiverses, and you have Jess is the Spider Hulk, say for instance. You know how because it's infinite basically. You can come up with any difference.
Right.
So because I would love to see her with Venom Blasts as well, but it kind of just alleviates the pain in a way if she isn't like the Jess. But yeah. Absolutely, totally agree with you, and the fact that Miles potentially stealing the thunder from Jess with in regards to the Venom Blast, but and again with that and your theory intact, and if she is indeed like just a multiversal Jess, then Jessica Drew from 616 or what have you is firmly entrenched in the Avengers camp.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how right I am. I'm really just kind of like drawing conclusions from like thin air and pulling stuff out of my butt. So
we should have a celebration if you get this right, because this is a pretty juicy.
All right, yeah. If I get this right, I definitely should throw a party and go. I told you, I've been saying this theory for years.
Yeah,
I've been saying it for years, or some iteration of this theory for years.
Well, we've documented it now. Timestamp. 4th of October, 3rd, 4th of October. And you've said it for years, so let it be on record. And if you're right, Seren, and oh my gosh, I don't know what I'll do. I'll bake a very untasty cake because I'm not that good a baker, but I'll make a
Spider Babies, make sure that if you see it confirmed anywhere, that you point back to me as the one who was right all along.
Yeah,
that's all I ask, because I want to receive credit for my crazy ass theory.
Because it's a damn good one, I've got to say.
Actually, like, there is some logic to it. It's not just like too insane, but
And the more you think about it, it's kind of like, that actually fits. that fits. Yeah, so let's see how we go. Fingers crossed. You know, at the end of the day, I should say, I want to point out as well, for me, comics, Jess in the comics is the foremost as well. Mm-hmm. So if she could feature in the films, that's nice. It's a bonus. I love it as well. But just give us more of Jess in the comics. Give us another series, Marvel. That's what I'm looking forward to.
That's all I am.
Yes.
Not related to Jessica Drew, but I just have to put this out there. My beverage of choice tonight is the seasonal Mountain Dew Voodoo flavor. So it's like a mystery flavor from Mountain Dew puts out every year around Halloween.
Oh, wow.
And it's like drinking like a Sour Patch Kid, like a gummy sour candy.
Oh, wow.
It's really freaking good, guys.
Is it good? Jeez.
Yeah. It's really good. I got a case on a whim and I'm like, oh no, I think I need to get another one.
What is it? Kind of like tropical flavor? Like tropical.
Have you ever had like sour gummy candies?
Yes, Kids? Yeah, we have sour snakes and all that. Yeah,
like that. It's like drinking that.
Okay,
it's good though.
Lovely.
It's like it's good. I know one year they did like a candy corn flavor one that was kind of gross, but this one hits it. I like it.
Well, if it's sharing drinks, my beverage of choice, I've just finished it. I'm very sad. Is just a coffee.
Coffee's always a good
nice black coffee. Yeah, no sugar, no milk, just boiling water.
See, if it's black, for me, it puts like a hole in my stomach, so I have to have creamer. I have to.
Oh,
I can't not have half and half in it.
Hello world, it's time to open the green door and enter the strongest podcast there is, Gamma Charge.
Twice a month, Russell and I dive into the history of the Incredible Hulk in comics, film, TV, games, and more.
That's right, Justin, and we rate and review all the Jade Giants media, good and not so good, with a smash or a gamma clap. And we put on the rant pants when we just can't take it.
And join us on Patreon to get exclusive bonus podcasts, prizes, and more at patreon.com/Gamma Charge Hulk Podcast.
We will see you real soon, Gamma Beasts. Stay green.
Gamma Charge.
The strongest podcast there is.
Okay, so anyway, let's just jump into this. Marvel 2-in-1 issues 31 to 33.
Yeah.
So number 31 is called My Sweetheart, My Killer. Number 32, and only the invisible girl can save us now. She's not a girl, though. She's a woman. And number 33, From Stonehenge with Death. That just sounds like a great vacation.
I don't want to go there anymore.
Ever.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
This was released May 31st, August 3rd, 1977. Cover date was September to November 1977. Okay, I'll keep going. Mm-hmm. Writers, Marv Wolfman. There's a lot here. Keep scrolling. Writers, Marv Wolfman. Pencilers, Ron Wilson. Inker, Sam Grainger. Colorist, Janice Cohen. Letterer, Irving Watanabe. I'm so sorry. I say it wrong every time. Editor, Marv Wolfman edited his own work.
Yeah. And I always I have a little giggle to myself with penciler Ron Wilson because there is an anchorman here in Australia. His name is Ron Wilson, and anchorman Ron Burgundy. I just envisage
I love Lamp.
Yeah, exactly. I love Lamp. So yeah, Ron Wilson. Yeah, on pencilers, available in floppy format. So go check it out. I don't think it's that hard to get. I think. So just check your LCS or your back issue bargain bins for that. It's also is it on Marvel Unlimited? I'm not too sure.
It is on Marvel Unlimited.
It is, okay.
So I just read it on Marvel Unlimited.
Oh, perfect. Which means then it will be in the Marvel app, so you can buy it too. And it's also in an out of print. I'm reading it from the Essential Collection. It's a black and white collection of
and also
Jessica
Marvel
Drew's.
Masterworks Spider-Woman Volume 1.
course, absolutely. So plenty of ways to read it, but Marvel Unlimited probably the most accessible if you don't have copies already. So what we do, Spider Babies, if you haven't listened to us before, Seren and I will go through a synopsis, this time, as always, typically, written by Wiki. And we'll do it for all 3 issues because we're going to bundle this all up together. Rather than go through each issue separately, we're just going to talk about it holistically and with bearing in mind Jess's involvement in it. We'll go through some notes. Tinfoil hats, not really.
Well, you already heard my tinfoil hat for today.
That is the best.
Regards to this.
That is the best one. And we'll finish it off with some listener feedback. And Sarah and I will let's mark it as well. Why not? Just 3. So this kind of round outs. Sorry, get that right, Ray. This rounds out the Marvel 2-in-1 appearances of Spider-Woman. She comes back later, I think in issues 80-something. 87 off the top of my head.
I didn't know that.
So she's in one more down the track because this is obviously in the 30s. But this rounds out this story. So, yeah. Overall, Seren, throughout across the 3 issues, what did you make of this this storyline?
I liked it. I think.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I'll edit that out. Sorry, Seren. We should go through the synopsis. We should go through the synopsis first.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was a little thrown here.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Hang on. I'll just work back that in. So, Seren, yes, we do have a synopsis here from Wiki.
All right. I will jump in. Wiki is our best friend. Thank you, Wiki, for the synopsis. Knocked into the Thames River by a bomb blast, the Thing saves Spider-Woman and brings her to shore. Indebted to him, she tells him of her forced servitude in Hydra and agrees to help him rescue Alicia. While the 2 criminals continue to search for their lost treasure, which turns out to be stolen from the British Treasury during World War II, they have almost completed collecting the plates needed to assemble a map pointing to out the location of the treasure. Meanwhile, Hydra exposes Alicia to the serum they synthesized based on Spider-Woman and mutates her into a woman spider creature, restoring her sight technologically. Ordering her to destroy the Thing and Spider-Woman, Alicia attacks them and their battle takes them across the city of London, finally ending in a department store where the Alicia creature catches Ben in a spiderweb.
As Ben and Spider-Woman continue to battle the spider-mutated Alicia Masters, the 2 criminals searching for the long-lost stolen treasure of World War II. They find the treasure they sought, however, when they open the treasure chest, they find themselves sucked into it by mystical forces. As the battle between Ben, Spider-Woman and Alicia rages on, Ben smashes the control module on her forehead. Losing their ability to control Alicia thanks to the destruction of this device, the Hydra agent in charge of this mission is ordered to be killed by the Supreme Hydra agent for his failure. Alicia has the 2 heroes on the ropes until the Invisible Woman arrives. Using her invisible force fields, Sue manages to cut off Alicia's oxygen supply until she passes out. While Dr. Court tries to restore Alicia back to normal, Thing wanders around London brooding. To make Ben feel worse, the people of London who originally treated him with celebrity when he first arrived are now treating him as a monster following the battle. Sue tracks down Ben and tells her that Alicia is calling out to him, and so they return to Court's lab just as Alicia is being transformed back to normal.
Taking a trip to Stonehenge, Alicia and the Thing are secretly followed by Spider-Woman. Meanwhile, the chests uncovered by the thieves looking for lost World War II treasure unleash a mystical force. Arriving at Stonehenge, Thing and Alicia are confronted by 4 elemental demons: fire, arrow, hydro, and mud. Their appearance forces Spider-Woman to reveal herself and defend Ben and Alicia. The trio are all transported below Stonehenge, where they find that all the tourists have been transported to and are being kept as prisoners. The elementals explain that they were summoned to capture Mordred, the mystic from Merlin, who has recently been revived in modern times. They have vowed to capture Mordred, even if it means the destruction of the Earth. As the elementals are explaining their mission, Ben and Spider-Woman attack them but prove unable to make any lasting damage against them. When all seems lost, Mordred arrives to answer the elementals' challenge. While Mordred and Spider-Woman battle the elementals, Ben goes looking for Alicia. Mordred transports themselves, the elementals, and Spider-Woman back to the surface where Mordred uses his magic to convince the elementals to go fight each other. Each opposing elemental pitted against each other and being destroyed. After the battle, Mordred transports everyone back to the surface and erases the tourist memories of the experience. Afterward, Ben and Alicia depart, leaving Mordred to take Spider-Woman under his arm and take her on as an apprentice.
Yeah, so that rounds out issues 31 to 33. So kind of, I mean, there are a lot of overlapping stories here, Seren. One in particular, obviously the two robbers trying to get the treasury map, but almost 33 can be seen, I think, as a separate story in itself, because the Alicia creature saga has kind of ended, but
right.
we do get Spider-Woman throughout all of them. So overall, what did you make of 31 to 33?
I liked it. I really think 33 is where we kind of get some insight into Jessica as a person finally. Like,
good point.
She in 33 she's like very, and honestly, like, I really can't, I hurt just, it kind of broke my heart really. It's just how, you know, sacrificing herself for Ben, because she really doesn't have anything right now. Like, why, you know, why? She's just like, well, what's the point of me? Let them live because they have stuff to live for. I don't even have anything. So she's just kind of like, whatever. But also, Jess learns that what she was told about being a spider turned into a person is false, because Mordred, whatever his name is, can see that. He's like, no, you were born a human and you are a human. You just have these extra powers. So we get some really good build up there, some characterization from Jess finally, other than, you know, I don't remember anything, to really lead into her series, because that's also the issue where they say, hey, Jess is getting her own solo, come read it. And that was, it's a really good actually lead into her oncoming series, which we will be getting into next. Yeah,
fantastic points actually. Great to pick those out of issue 33, because as you say, it leads into Jess's issues. And I'm just looking at that panel that you're probably referring to, when Jess kind of sees the whole situation hopeless against these elementals, and she's kind of thinking about herself and the others, and she says, she thinks, who would care? And more so, who would weep for me? Yeah, so really, you can see the opinion she has of herself and where she is at the moment, like psychologically. So from a standpoint of Jessica Drew and the character, 33 really does give quite a lot.
And that's really kind of a theme that Jess carries through in her original series, and even especially coming out of Secret Invasion, she gets that way as well. So there are certainly themes here, and even in the original series, that are established for Jess that have carried through to now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Wolfman, Marv Wolfman knows what he's doing. He's setting himself up for the upcoming series, because obviously at this stage it's got green lit. I mean, they are advertising it at the end of 33 already, as you mentioned, Seren. So it's all a go. And so I guess this is an opportunity for Marv to really kind of get Jess at a place where he can start her off on her own series.
Yeah, and I think he said somewhere, I gotta find my Marvel 2-in-1 volume number 1. It's somewhere around here. Because there's like an interview with him, and I think he says that he specifically said that the Marvel Spotlight 32 has such a strong reaction. People wanted to know more of her. So he put her in a book with The Thing, because The Thing was selling. and that was just a way to get her even more people on the page for her. Because if they're watching this, if they're if they're reading this series for the thing, you put these other characters in with him, and that gets them spotlight, and then drums up more interest, and then you get 50 issues of Spider-Woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be lost. And for listeners who don't know, the thing was a massive deal back in the mid 70s to early 80s. Like, we're talking about, he was probably, you know how the X-Men were big in the 90s, and Spider-Man, or, you know, the Hulk was big in the 80s. The Thing was the go-to character, I think, around that time. He was so popular. Yeah. He had his own series. He was in Marvel 2-in-1. I mean, and the other big gun, which was Spider-Man, was doing the Marvel team-ups back then as well.
And Fantastic Four, obviously.
And Fantastic Four as well. Oh, of course, you know, Fantastic Four as well. But the Thing as a character just seemed to, and still does today, but is not at that same status that he was in the 70s. So, as you're saying, Seren, why not? Why not, like, as marketing goes, why not use the Thing and put Spider-Woman in there to expose her a bit more to more readers? And yeah, it was a good move. And particularly good to hear that Marvel Spotlight 32 did succeed in piquing a lot of people's interest, and we get that in, I think it's 31 here. I'm just kind of looking through where we get that explanation, because you and I, Seren, we wondered, how does this tie into Spotlight 32? Because she was wandering the countryside, right? And then all of a sudden she's back under Hydra. And it explains it here. So one of the big things, I guess, out of these three issues, apart from what you mentioned, Seren, in issue 33, was we get the gaps filled about what happened to Spider-Woman. She was literally, I'm just trying to quickly find it, she was wandering the countryside and she gets attacked by a plane. Is that right? Hydra come back and get her again. So that is kind of explained. So we kind of get that. Oh, there it is. It is in the first couple of pages of 31. She gets attacked. She gets shot by a plane. And that's when she's again captured by Hydra. So really good in kind of tying that up too. But of course, I mean, Seren, the issues have got so much more in it. At least let's talk about issues 31 and 32. At least it has Alicia as a spider, and the tie-in with Jess there using the serum. So we know that it can't be replicated. It's not as easy as just like making more Jessicas. Which kind of implies also, Seren, that Jess is unique in a way.
Yes, she's very unique as far as I think as far as any of the spiders go, Jess is a pretty unique. I mean, Julia was also, like, she volunteered for her experiments to her. And I will say, actually, when you really think about it, it's very interesting that the time that Jess was created, and even Julia and Jen Walters, generally speaking, most female characters got their powers based on the male counterpart. Jessica and Julia both bucked that trend.
Yeah, I can't. I read it a while ago. Julia, was it through the Power Broker? Was that?
I can't remember.
But she volunteered. I know she volunteered for an experiment.
Right.
I just can't remember who it was though. But yeah, absolutely. It's nothing to do with the counterpart.
Right. Unlike Carol, or at the time, Carol or Jen Walters. Obviously, the Invisible Woman is also another one who got her powers. You know, not based on that, but she's part of a group. She's not a solo character, and I think I still like to point out that at this time, you know, having characters like Carol and Jess and Jen in their own solo series, I think is a pretty big deal. But maybe I don't know nearly enough about. And then Jessica, when you look at it as, like, far as cartoon series go, Jessica was the first female superhero to headline her own animated series, and we didn't have another one until, like, the Harley Quinn series that aired.
Wow!
Like, literally the first female like comic book superhero. I'm not talking like She-Ra or anything like that. I mean, like, literal, like, from comic books. Technically Harley Quinn's not from the comic book. She started in the TV and then they made her the comics, but you know what I mean.
No, absolutely, and that's right. And Harley Quinn, for what I understand, is going great guns. Her show's fantastic, and it's amazing. You think about all the characters in the Marvel Universe, Seren, all the female characters, and Spider-Woman is the only one.
And she had all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, they dropped her off the face of the planet for 20-something years. I'm like, why? I don't know. It makes no sense. They should have just kept pushing her like they did with Carol and Jen. I think it would have been completely different.
So weird. But, but we do get a lot more in this Alicia, as we mentioned. So it's kind of like, it reminded me of, in the MCU and Cap and how they retconned it, and Bruce Banner was trying to replicate the serum, and instead he got kind of like the Hulk. They try to replicate the super soldier serum, but Cap's so unique and you can't just do it. Which actually later on in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think that's kind of dispelled.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was so good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, but yes, the Alicia, the fight, I thought it was great. It was good to see Jess in action across all the and all the issues.
It was. I liked. I really wish there had been more moments between Jess and Sue. I feel like the two of them could have really. Jess could have learned a lot from Sue, and I'm kind of bummed that in the end of it, Marv made the thing in Alicia, and I think by proxy Sue, forget about Jessica and meeting her, because
that's right. Yep.
Because I feel like if the Fantastic Four had taken Jess under their wing rather than her going off with Madrid, that would have been a little better too. Not that she couldn't have had her own solo, but at least she could have I don't know. I feel I feel it was just another way for Wolfman to kind of clean the slate. You're
again.
right.
I mean, absolutely though. I mean, I totally agree with you for sure. But it's a way, because he's starting a new series. Otherwise, he's going to have to deal with continuity, because back in the days they actually dealt with it a lot better than they do these days. The old kind of trope of forget everything, and which is a shame, because I do like how. The Thing was his thoughts on Jessica as well. They started out fighting each other, and he totally respects her at the end. He sees her as quite a peer in the superheroing gig, and so they could have really had a great relationship. But unfortunately, I mean, because I had that in my notes, but I totally forgot about that mind wipe. But you're right, it's kind of reset everything, which is unfortunate. Also, speaking to, as you mentioned, with Sue Storm, I would love that too. I find Sue kind of a really different. I don't know, in the sense that, I mean, there are many
how Marv Wolfman wrote her.
I do as well, but
I really enjoy that.
She, coming from the Fantastic Four, and I guess her role in that as well. She's. We know in the Mark Waid run, she's actually full-on kick-ass, and she can do many things with her powers. For instance, say Sue with someone like Silk or even Julia Carpenter. Sue just seems to be the more level-headed and very sensible.
She would be level-headed and sensible with Jess too, because Jess is an angry hothead. True,
but I think though that with them, Jess is. I don't know, at this stage as well, because Jess has that kind of older, experienced vibe.
Yeah, that's true.
You're right, though, at this stage, she's very new to the game. But Jess is like a mentor, and I see Sue like a mentor as well. Yeah, whereas...
Is Sue one of the Daughters of Liberty with Jess? Is Sue one of the Daughters of Liberty?
I'm not sure.
Ooh. Because that's what I want. I want a Daughters of Liberty series, because that's got Mockingbird, Black Widow, Spider-Woman... Who else is on the Daughters of Liberty? I don't even remember. But I think Sue is one of them. I do think Sue is one of them, yeah.
So you meant exactly as well, like Black Widow as well, I'd rate up there as well, as in mentors. Mentor,
that was something.
Mockingbird as well?
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, so Jess and Mockingbird haven't had much of a history, but Jess in Secret Avengers, written by... it was Alice Cott.
Yeah.
Jess and Natasha had become pretty good friends actually in that series, and there's a friendship there that I really like. Those two are really fun together.
Yeah.
And obviously Carol and Jess, but yeah, like I would love to see Sue and Jess together. They would be fun.
Literally. Actually, and they are both mothers now as well, which is the link. Because I always see Sue very kind of motherly as well. It's because of her role, what I'm saying, in Fantastic Four, but she's obviously a lot more than that. But I just see that her and Jess, the way they interact would be on peer.
Yeah, they would have a lot in common, but also a lot different, because Jess, like I said, she just says what she thinks, and she is not diplomatic at all. She has no problem, like I know Sue is an invisible woman, and like sometimes all the men in her life don't even notice she's gone. Yeah. And like Jess knows what that's like, because look at Secret Invasion. She like knows what that's like. And I think they would be a really fun duo to see explored together. I think they would be I think they could be good friends, and I think they'd be a lot of fun. And you're right, Jess has been a mentor, because she's mentored all the Spider Girls. You know, Maddie and Anya. Her and Anya are so hilarious together.
Yeah.
You know, Cindy, Gwen. I mean, she's mentored all of them.
Yeah.
I don't know why she hasn't mentored Miles, because Miles could learn a thing or two from Jess, I feel.
Yeah.
But they would be real good. I wish they had interacted.
And they're kind of like, when you're saying like Jess is more of a hothead, which she can be, Sue could be like the rock for that, you know, because with those relationships,
she's used to dealing with Ben.
Yeah, exactly.
And Johnny, who is a literal hothead.
Exactly. I mean, but you look at her dynamic in the Fantastic Four, she is like the rock and the anchor. Like, you know, Ben and Johnny, they fight amongst each other. Reed is in his own world, you know, and sometimes he has to be pulled back because he gets so hyper-focused on stuff. So Sue, to me, is like just reliable, dependable. She's solid. And I think she'd work well with Jess as well. You're right. In this instance, in 32... as mentioned, Jess is still very new to the game, and Sue is a lot more seasoned. You'd imagine here. So
you can see it. It's great.
Yeah, and Sue and the Thing, they're kind of like celebrities in the public eye. You know, the Fantastic Four are. So different kind of background, but very very interesting. Alicia's. I thought it was fun, like Alicia being the creature. It's just you don't see that much. I'm glad that she did have this involvement, because I don't know. It was just in the lead up to 29 and 30. She was kind of there. She was kidnapped.
She was really, I hate to say it, she was really just a plot point. And what I would have liked is I mean, she did have some moments, but what I really, really would have liked was to nix the whole B plot with the crooks from World War II and getting more into her psyche. Like, there's a lot going on with Licia, and I've read bits and pieces of the most recent Fantastic Four one by Dan Slott, and I've liked it. And he gets a little bit more into how Alicia rolls and some of the issues that I've seen. I don't know, I haven't read it recently, so I don't know. But what I've read, I've liked. So
because it's easy to, like as you say, have Alicia just on the side as a plot point. Because for the most part, she was there as the point for Ben. Like, she was the driver for Ben, you know, his emotions and him wanting to take care of her, and, you know, all that sort of stuff that comes with comics of this age. So it was good that she had a bit more of a substantial role. And, I mean, I wasn't too fussed with those kind of criminals looking for the treasure map. I guess that did bleed into Mordred, because he becomes I forgot it. One of the guys is actually the Dutchman who sought out. There's a whole back history to it, which kind of added it added a little bit more interest. But at the end, I'm glad that their runtime was limited as it was, because, you know, they were the least interesting out of it all.
I could have done without that whole plot. I mean, I know it set up Mordred, which was totally out of left field, but
I'm interested. I'd like to learn more about Mordred. You're right,
We'll
Mordred.
see him.
I
think
thought
we
it was
see him.
Mordred. Yeah.
Mordred. It is Mordred.
No.
I keep saying Mordred.
No. The front cover says Mordred.
So then it is
either
Mordred.
got
That's right. Okay.
Someone's misspelled it somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. But he shows up in the original in Jessica's series. He's got pretty significant parts there, so we see him from time to time. Yeah.
Yeah, and he brings that kind of the magical.
Yeah, he really
elements to
ties
it.
Jess into like all the, and again, because of that tie, they could have, if they wanted to, they could have bled her into Doctor Strange stuff, and it wouldn't. No one would have batted an eye because of her ties to Morgan Le Fay and Mordred. So it's like I look at it and I'm like, literally, just stick her in wherever you want in the MCU, she'll fit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh no, it was good. I enjoy. I mean, if we're looking at the battles, I found it quite not hilarious. I don't know, amusing that Sue, she comes in and bang, within a couple of minutes she's able to.
She had it all squared away.
Yeah, to fix the whole situation straight away. I mean, like the Thing and Spider-Woman were trying, but Alicia's pretty amped up here. I mean, she's a full-on rage beast. But yeah, Sue just does the whole. I feel that's the answer to many ways of beating villains, Seren. You just put a bubble around their head, and let
them suffocate, run out of air, and then they'll fall asleep, and you're good. It's like go sleep, go sleep, go sleep, and it's fine. Everything is fine.
Exactly. So I like how Sue is just so assured, and she knows exactly what to do. Yeah. True. There's a little thing there with the I'm bouncing. I think it's from 32. The little thing with the Hydra agents. So we know how cutthroat they are.
Yeah, but then they kind of dropped that plot with the new guy coming to get it. I think, didn't they? I don't even remember what happened to the new guy they sent after them. I don't even know what happened. I forget already.
He just comes in, doesn't he? Agent 8. You are now in charge of Operation Spider-Woman. And so he's there, but who knows what he does? He may have gotten off panel as well. The fight. So what did you make of? I mean, this is kind of not Jess based, but it's part of 33. What did you make of Stonehenge and the elementals? I thought they were pretty cool.
I thought that was pretty cool, but it was a little weird. But I see why they did it, and it was a fun plot. I enjoyed that more, I think, than the other plot that led into it. I feel like they could have done something better, because then it turns out, I don't know, I feel like they could have done something with like a Stonehenge plot underneath it rather than having these guys do this thing to unlock them.
Right. Yeah, that would be...
That could have been done a little bit better.
Yeah, I'd agree, because I mean, I don't know how it was for people reading it back in the day, but yeah, those two guys, Wolfman, unfortunately, they didn't seem as interesting, only towards the end. But straight away, like they're talking about Stonehenge and this whole mystical element, it gets my interest straight away. So, I reckon they could have done then. I liked, Arrow and Mud and all that. They kind of bickered among.
I mean, you had names like Arrow and who was the other one? Fire and Hydra, and then Mud.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Why didn't you name them like Fisher or Granite? You named it Mud.
Something a bit more dynamic than Mud. Maybe Mud back in the day Mud was good. Like, it was a cool name. Don't know. So I'm following Jess's trajectory here in 33. I mean, so she basically kind of just fights on, and it's not until Mordred gets there that he does away with it, because these elementals are we're talking big scale. I think
they're big. They're big dudes.
Yeah, I think even the Thing acknowledges, and I think he even mentions about just like, this is way, although
above
he's tackled, it's a way above, like it's really big fish. He says in himself, I've battled such and such, you guys are nothing, but he actually thinks, oh gosh, we're in trouble here. So it's not until Mordred goes in, and he gets them to turn on each other, and he gets to defeat them in various ways. But yeah,
which is pretty cool. You mean, you see that guy's no joke. He becomes kind of a joke later, but he's no joke here.
No, yeah, exactly. He's pretty cool. I actually want to read. I'll reread his appearance in Spider-Woman again. I think that's pretty cool, pretty interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I don't really have much else to say other than, I mean, I said basically what I...
Yeah, I think we've kind of like covered the main areas that it affects Jessica. As you said, Sarah, you perfectly done in issue 33 and 31 and 32. She basically just allies with Ben, and that little reveal of her origin.
Yeah.
Shall we
but
go?
I will say it was a good move on Wolfman's part, again, like we were saying, to put her in here to build up to her
perfect
next series. So it's a good...
So, yeah, very,
even
very well
though
done.
other characters are advertised, Jess still has a pretty significant role in each issue.
I mean, she's still on the front cover for 32.
Yeah.
So even though technically it is 2-in-1, it's the Thing and Invisible Woman. I mean, if you take it from the title, because it's always the Thing and Invisible Girl, but matter of fact, like I think Jess has more screen time than
Sue does. Right? Yeah.
She kind of comes in later. So
yeah.
Before we get into feedback, shall we give this a score, Saren?
I will say I'm gonna go 5 out of 5 for these.
Oh, nice.
I'm still not a fan of the B plot, but the B plot took more of a back seat, I think. And the other plots, I feel like I enjoyed these 3 issues more than the first 2. Because we got a bit more about Jess in them.
Yeah, you're right as well. I would give this I can't remember what I gave the other one, but I'll give this a solid 4 out of 5, just because it was packed with action. We get Sue Storm in there as well, and you're right as well. Spider-Woman, she gets set up for her series, and just being a fan of that character, I think you'd glean a lot more from this than say the first 2. So.
Maybe I'll mend mine to a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Because those guys are still bothering me now that I'm sitting here thinking about it.
My iPad is not working, but I'll just try to remember that. 4.5, and I'll go 4. So, Spider Babies, there you go. Let us know what you think as well. We did get a couple of bits of feedback, Saren.
Yes, we did.
So, I mean, we'll go through it. They may have covered what we have, but we
got a very lengthy comment from our good patron Jess D at Spider-Woman OFCL on Twitter. I'm just going to read it all out loud. I haven't even read it yet. And I don't say it lengthy in a bad way. I love big, long feedback. Please, the more feedback, the better.
More.
She says there's a fun link between Spotlight 32 and her first series, with Archie and Marv being consistent writers-editors on all of them. They set up the foundation for her to be dark, to question existence, her own purpose, memories, validity, even humanity, which I love. I like that she is established as human and is reassured by Madrid of it several times. She has such a strong moral compass, running around unsure of herself and her existence, but so confident that she should help Ben and that he deserves her help even if she doesn't survive. Gosh, she's saying it way better than I ever could. Spiders don't have moral compasses, humans do. It was also fun to delve a smidge. Spider Effects mentioning the high metabolism as a reason to shut Alicia down. Adds higher stakes to the story and is used in Volume 1 in a panel near and dear to my heart involving whiskey. Yes, that's an excellent panel. I know what she's talking about. It's a good one. You don't have to read all of this or read verbatim or read it at all if you guys already discussed it in the episode by the time you get to it. Well, too bad. I've read it all. And Saren, it's very insightful. So thank you.
It is very insightful, and it really echoes our thoughts as well. So, I mean, thank you so much, Jess, for that. There is another little bit there, Saren, because Jess did add in. Yeah, if you're off the prompt sheet, it's on the second paragraph.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please, because I'm not seeing it.
No worries. I'm pretty sure I didn't mention this, did it? Forgive me if I've repeated this.
Yeah.
They also set her up for a very mystic history, with Mordred being the one to bring back her memories, then to eventually be guided by Magnus and become enemies with Morgan Le Fay. The science evolutionary begins with a mystic guidance is such an interesting blend. Yeah, absolutely
I
as
missed
well.
that paragraph. It didn't show up on my Twitter actually when I read this.
Yeah. So, I mean, another great point as well. Alongside
Magnus,
the...
that's who it is. He's not the one. Okay, I got them confused because it's been a while.
Well, there's a whole thing as well with Merlin as well, but you're right. I mean, Magnus.
The whole thing.
Yeah. I love this kind of fantasy magic side of it as well. And
if you
so
like
it is
the fantasy magic side, please read Sam Humphrey's Weird World. It's the only comic book I may love more than Spider-Woman. It is so good. Particularly Sam Humphrey's run. It's only like 5 or 6 issues. It is fantastic.
This is with Mike Del Mundo, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jason Aaron wrote the first one, which was very good.
Yep.
But Sam Humphries blew me out of the water. It was
He's
so
good. I like him.
Good. Read it.
Okay, I've got to remember to put that in our Venom Blasts as well. A recommendation from Seren. No, absolutely. But no, Jess, thank you so much. I loved the touch pointer on the magical there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Exactly. Her questioning her existence, her purpose. My gosh, that really just sums up Jess, doesn't it? So
and that was such a good. That was really a really that part was my favorite out of any of the other preceding issues. That one part where Jess really starts to be like, oh God, it was just so well done. I love it.
Well, it just makes her a lot more than just like a hypnotized Hydra agent, attacking Ben, which was in the first couple of things. And then she's there really as kind of the muscle with Ben just fighting Alicia and all that. So, it just adds so much depth to her character. And like
you just sit there and you finally realize, God, this girl doesn't even know anything. And then you feel really bad for her. And you're like, no. And you want good things to happen just because now her life's been kind of shit up until this point. And you're like, damn, but you know what I mean? It's just like, you really want to start rooting for her going, this girl needs to get her life straight. And we hope it happens. And we want to see it happen. And that's why she's got a series coming down the road. Yeah.
And I also think just with regards to how it works within the Marvel 2-in-1 with the Thing, I guess it also shows, Ben, stop moping around so much. I mean, you do have a beautiful woman in Alicia. Sure, I mean, I understand the baggage that comes with being turned into like a rock, like a different appearance and being viewed differently. But if you look at Spider-Woman's plight, I mean, she and Ben doesn't know this, I guess. So that's not. But like, if you compare the two and the way that they're shown, she's got like so much more
going on. Like he looks like he's walking through the roses. I mean, everything went bad on the trip to London. It was just bad timing for everything. But
at
least he has people who loves him and he knows that he can fall back on and trust. And Jess doesn't really have any of that.
She doesn't have.
She goes off with some strange magician.
Yes, exactly. So again, who knows? Like where she will end up in that. With that regards, but I just wanted to make that point with Ben because taking nothing away from the Thing, of course.
But he was very mopey.
He was a little bit mopey, brooding. I think it said in the wiki.
Yes.
So,
an excellent word, brooding.
Yeah, we just have a quick one from Instagram. It's from Rustin, I believe. It's a Tonic FX PFX, or Tonic Fix. Sorry, from discussion on episode 30, we do find out how she was recaptured. Hydra shot her with a plane. I thought that was pretty funny too, Rustin. Yeah. She gets shot by a plane, Seren.
She got shot by a plane, but she did shoot a plane down.
That's true. Well,
so they're just giving it back to her.
Exactly. I was about to say arch nemesis. You have Morgan Le Fay, you have Octavia Vermis, and you have airplanes for Jess.
And helicopters, because how many of these things? How many things does she destroy?
Exactly.
She destroys a lot, and then Tony's stuff. Yeah.
She does not like flying vehicles. She has something against flying vehicles.
Unless it's Tony's flying sports car, because then she likes to steal them and she returns them in pristine condition.
Oh, that's true. Well, you got to give a little back,
Yeah.
Otherwise, Tony's just gonna turn off the tap with any tech or whatever.
That's Jessica's favorite hobby is to steal Tony's vehicles. So I love that through line because that was something in Captain Marvel that Kelly Thompson established. And then Carla just ran with it. It was great.
It's great. Yeah. It's I mean, these things are appreciated, where they cross over.
I love it.
And
so
writers are, referencing other writers. It's cool.
Good time.
Yeah. Well, I think that about wraps us, Seren. We've got just a big thank you again to our Spider patrons. You've heard us chat about the irrepressible Jess D and Rustin here, but a big thank you also to Miriam and Eric for all your support.
We love you guys. Thank you.
Means a lot to us. Yeah, exactly. So please, thank you for supporting us, and you too can become a Spider patron too if you go to patreon.com/SpiderWomanPod. Yeah.
So our next episode 32, we're doing the modern run. We're doing a continuation of Spider-Woman Origin #3 by Brian Bendis and Reed, and the Luna Brothers. So I hope you guys have been enjoying that one as well. So we'll be back with more of that. It starts to get juicy in #3. I mean, not that it wasn't juicy before, but it gets really good.
Oh, I love going through it. So as much as I've enjoyed these classic runs as well, but I like how we have these two different flavors during the month. So mid-October, Spider Babies, you'll get this classic run, and towards the end, look out for our next episode 32. That about wraps us, Seren. So
let's wrap us up.
Just wondering, we've still got to kind of fine tune our outro, but
yeah,
I'll go this time. Spider Babies, thank you for listening, and remember,
to know her is to fear her.
Good night.
Oh, you did it that time.
Yes.
If you'd like to contact us with your thoughts on Spider-Woman and her amazing series, you can drop us a line at spiderwomanpod@gmail.com. We are also on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Spider-Woman Pod or To Know Her Is to Fear Her, a Spider-Woman podcast. Catch us on Twitter at Spider-Woman Daily or on Discord, Tumblr, and Podchaser. Look for all our links to our social platforms in the show notes.
We are also proud members of The Collective, a supergroup of podcasters dedicated to covering all the characters and news in comics and beyond. Search for #TheCollectiveNet on Twitter to see the latest on all the shows, or click on the link provided in our episodes to give you a list of who's part of The Collective. Finally, please consider giving us a rating on either Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. Whether it be to sing your praises or give us pointers on how to improve the show, any ratings will help cast our web further and potentially reach out to more Spider Babies out there.
Thank you so much for listening to our show. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned for our next upcoming episode. But until then, remember, to know her is to fear her.
Spider-Woman and affiliated characters, stories, and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Material used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only, under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information, or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.